So, Carolina Crown has been through quite a bit in this past week, and we are here to talk about all of it. So, in case you've been living under a rock, recently Carolina Crown has gone through quite a bit of stir in the drum corps media space, particularly with their performance at Coachella, as well as a certain volunteer position that they decided to offer to people that might want to be members or volunteers of their drum corps. So these two things don't really have anything to do with each other, but the fact that they both happened to the same corps within the span of about a week is the craziest part. So I decided to talk about both of them in the same video. So let's start with Crown in Coachella. This is honestly the least significant thing about this past week, but it does need to be spoken about a little bit. So Carolina Crown had the amazing opportunity to have some of its members, along with Matt Harloff, their former brass caption head, be able to perform at Coachella with Travis Scott. It's an amazing opportunity to have, especially with somebody that is as big as Travis Scott, for brass musicians, especially drum corps brass musicians and HBCU brass musicians, to headline an event as big as Coachella. This opportunity should not go unnoticed and is a huge step for what drum corps can be. But there was a bit of controversy when it came to this actual performance. Their first showing, well, let me just show you. So this initial performance was not the best showing that you possibly could have had. It is a little bit disappointing to see brass musicians finally get a stage and seemingly blow it. Now, to the untrained ear, it honestly probably doesn't sound that bad, maybe just a little bit out of the mix, so you could say. A lot of the sections were not blending, the tubas were kind of sticking out, the high brass was all over the place in terms of tone quality, and it just didn't sound as good as you might normally see from either a only HBCU band or an only drum corps group. Now, a lot of comments actually did point this out, the fact that the different styles didn't really seem to match, and it seemed like some people were trying to play with that good centered tone that Carolina Crown is known for, and the other side is, hey, we have this HBU style and we're trying to play this style. Both styles are good and both styles should be respected, but it has been pretty clear that, at least in this performance, they didn't seem to mesh very well. From the little bit that I might be able to assume, I just think they probably didn't get enough practice for this first performance. They probably showed up, did a couple run-throughs of it, made sure that the music, timing, and transitions were all put together, but they probably didn't care too much about how do we actually sound when the performance happens. Also, the fact that you're at Coachella, most people do not perform for crowds that big, and the nerves could have been off the wall. I know for a fact if I performed for Coachella, I think I'd be a little bit more nervous than performing at DCI finals even. And lucky for these performers, they did get a second chance. Travis Scott was going to perform multiple times at Coachella because he's one of the main people, and let me show you what they sounded like the second time around. This was a completely different sound from this group, and it was absolutely significantly better. The first time around was not very good. The second time around, I can get behind something like this. Did they sound perfect like a finalist group? No. Did they sound amazing like a normal HBCU band together might sound? No. But did they sound significantly better, probably with just a little bit extra rehearsal time? Yes, they did. And honestly, if you gave them maybe a week or two or even three, by the end of it, they probably will sound amazing. I personally don't know how many more times Travis Scott is going to be performing or how many times these people are going to be able to perform this set, but the second time around was absolutely amazing. And hopefully this can open up opportunities for other drum corps, brass musicians, HBCU bands, or any of the like to be able to perform in the future. So this was Carolina Crown at Coachella. A little bit of controversy, a little bit of mixed styles, but in the end, I think they showcased a good product and they left it all out there and honestly gave a good impression of brass musicians as a whole. Now, this next topic, I can't necessarily say the same for. Around 2 days ago, Carolina Crown posted a flyer, advertisement, marketing, position availability post on Instagram. In this post, they are trying to recruit for a field set crew. Now, you can call it whatever you want, but it essentially is just a prop crew. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Crown and other groups actually do this all the time. And I know for a fact that Carolina Crown has had this specifically at least 1 year. Something like this is not necessarily uncommon in the activity, but I think what really struck a chord is the fact that it is seemingly a non-performing volunteer position, and yet when you look at it, Carolina Crown was charging these members in order to actually participate. Now, obviously, when you have young adults from the ages of 18 to 22 having to pay just to be a volunteer and essentially a laborer for your corps, it doesn't really come off the best way, if you know what I mean. I am all for drum corps trying to figure out other ways of not only educating the youth, but also being able to provide opportunities to the youth that might not be able to fully perform in drum corps itself. Drum corps is absolutely super expensive, and having to pay upwards of $5,000 in tuition alone is kind of insane nowadays. So the fact that they're offering a position that is not a marching position, not a performer position, and not a position that rehearses or necessarily learns from the actual group, but more of the logistics position, having to charge members for that is a little bit absurd. Like I said earlier, I'm all for corps trying to figure out new ways of themselves also increasing their revenue. But when it comes off the backs of young adults that are already struggling financially to participate in the activity as a whole, something like this is a little bit tone deaf. Now, am I saying that they should be similar to something like the Blue Coats or the Blue Devils, who actually pay their prop crews? Absolutely not, because those two corps make significantly more money than most other corps. Blue Devils makes a ton of money every single year, and they have the disposable income to make that something that the members don't need to worry about. The Blue Coats are the same way. They have now set up a lot of infrastructure that allow them to put people in positions like that with relative ease. Other corps see the benefit of this and they want to do it the same way, but when you don't have nearly as much disposable income for something like this, I can see why you might want these members to pay. However, on the membership side of things, there's absolutely no reason why you should pay upwards of almost $2,000 just to go on a seasonal tour to work. You might as well just be better off getting an internship somewhere else where you can actually make money, staying home and working where you can make money, or spending the same amount on a sound sport or all-age corps. I am totally down if Carolina Crown made this a volunteer position, and it seems like recently they have taken in some feedback and they are trying to change their methods of getting this field crew on tour with them. But in no way do I think they should ever charge members to do this. And it honestly might be a sign that something is happening behind the scenes that is not very good, or that could be damaging to the corps, that you feel the need to charge so much money for a volunteer working position. Now, Carolina Crown has made a post apologizing from the corps director himself, and they're trying to find another solution to this problem, and I think that's great. Again, the initial post was them trying to fix a problem. Having been in corps where the prop crew is absolutely exhausted every single summer, the show designers and the staff get a little bit too wonky with their show ideas, and usually it's the prop crew that suffers. Having these expensive, heavy, and difficult to manage props, and then having a crew be part of your membership itself, makes it so that the summer is that much worse for people. And take it from me, I was not on prop crew, but I did march in 2022 Santa Clara Vanguard, where by the middle of the season, pretty much the entire crew was on prop crew because of how difficult those props were to manage. So this initial post was trying to solve that problem. If you can get a crew that is dedicated to doing props and your members don't have to worry about it, the mental and physical load of a summer becomes that much lighter. However, I just don't believe that this was quite the way to solve this issue. But again, it seems like they're trying to fix it. And now it's time to hear from you. What are your thoughts on both of these situations from Carolina Crown? This past week or two has probably been a nightmare for their media and marketing team, and they have probably been really trying to make sure that they're in good standing with the membership and the people that like to follow them and their fans. At the end of the day, I don't think it's that big of a deal, and I think they're at least learning from some of these mistakes. Besides that though, I want to hear your thoughts on this whole matter. What did you think of their Coachella performance? And what did you think of their field set crew? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye bye now.